Hey, how's it going? This is James P. White, and this is the Bold and Short of It podcast. We are live here at the Sherbrooke Liquor at Sherbrooke Pub. We've had 3 restarts already today because we've had technical issues, and it's Sherbrooke Pub, and I'm not even drunk
Featuring
today.
Sherbrooke Liquor.
Yeah, yeah, I'm drinking liquor. And that's Chris Mooney. I'm James P. White. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast. We are, as I said, Sherbrooke Liquor, and we're drinking one of my favorite beers. It's the Wolf. It's a Sea Change beer, and it's one of my favorites. And it's a good thing to drink when hanging out with him. The more I drink, the more I like that man. And it's and not in a weird way. Okay, so let's
Could a booty call be around the corner? Drunk Kyle?
yeah, that's pretty much. But okay, so now let's get into it. Chris Mooney, how was your day, buddy?
My
Or
day,
week?
my day was
Week.
okay actually. I know. I won't get too granular, but we're starting a little bit earlier, so it was kind of nice hanging out a little bit today. The latter half of my day. Um, I had a really good week. It was my birthday this past week. Yesterday we sort of celebrated because it's on the 15th, or sorry, the 13th. But we had family over yesterday because when it's convenient for everyone. So that was great. I might be able to touch on that later. But other highlight this week was my buddy Cozy and I up from Japan. I know I've talked about him already, but we went to the Monolith, which is owned by Blind Enthusiasm Brewing. Speaking of beers and craft beers and brewers, um, and our my friend Greg Zeschuk, who owns the place, he took us on a guided tour of the actual facility. And it is called the Monolith, and it's on 78th Ave and 99th Street, right across the street from Stick Brewing. And
Oh, so happy beer street.
yes, yes, exactly. And
Okay.
Sea Change is there too. I think they're a little bit further south, same sort of area. But anyway, uh, it, with all due respect to like our wonderful craft brewers here in Edmonton and all over the world now, but when you call that craft brewing, it's an insult to wine enthusiasm. Like this facility is $1 million facility, multi-million-dollar facility. It was built like the bottling system alone is like $300,000. And the attention to detail there is ridiculous. Like you see craft brewers in like industrial retail kind of areas, and they've got their tanks and they have things there and stuff. This concrete building is a bunker that was built specifically for brewing, and so they have a hop drying room. Um, they have this thing near the roof with vents where they get uh, microbes to come in. So when they do during the fermenting in this, there's like 5 of them in the world. This like massive diameter thing where they put the beer and then they get the microbes to come in just naturally from the air and they can open or close the vents. They have a barrel room where they um, basically, I don't know if this is what the term is, distill or ferment their beer in these barrels. Uh, like some of them age 5 years, uh, and some of them are 2 years. I think when we were in the tap room after the tour, like the shortest one was like 4 months, and they put them in barrels. And so like they'll have like old Cabernet Sauvignon barrels. Greg was saying the vintners that get these, like he buys a lot from Europe, and they'll buy them for like 2 grand. These beautiful barrels, and then they can only use them like maybe a couple times. Then they'll sell them to brand or blind enthusiasm for like $500, and they can get multiple uses out of them depending on the beers they put in. But like when you go in, he makes you put on booties. The place is absolutely spotless. They have a lab. They have like the barrel room. They have a hops drying room, I mean, it's crazy. And I was like just so impressed with their attention to detail. And the beer is great. So if you want ever want to check them out, Blind Enthusiasm. The facility's called the Monolith. It's on 78th Avenue. Like I said, 99th Street, Happy Beer Street, as they call it. And take some time to check out some of the other craft brewers around. I promise you, will be best. But that was the highlight of my week, obviously. So,
Yeah.
that was on Friday, and I know you were busy doing some stuff this week too, right?
Uh, Before I get into what I'm about, so because there's a lot of great breweries on that street. There's as you said, uh,
It's different.
yeah. Then there's quite a few of them. There's that Dark Omen Brewing is just around there too. Like there's
Longer.
so many Omen because they're all like dark beers.
Yeah,
It's a great place too. Yeah, Happy
Ben
Beer
Stick,
Street. If you
Ben
Ben
Stick,
Sticks,
Tally Cat, Long Roof, I think it's called. Um, yeah, and Shitties, which does mostly like coolers and stuff, hard lemonades. A lot of people talk about their hard lemonade, which apparently is really good. But yeah, Blind Enthusiasm, obviously, like there's no shortage. It's a great place. And Greg was talking about that too. Greg Check, the owner of Blind Enthusiasm. He was talking about how, I mean, before that, it was just a bunch of sort of semi-zoned industrial land just east of the railroad tracks and uh,
yeah,
and um, and west of 99th Street, and then it was Greg and the fellow from I believe it was Sea Change got together and said, "Hey, we got to get everybody over here," and they kind of work with the city. And so yeah, that's already a big draw, and they've got some things happening in the city upcoming concerts and stuff like that. So check out Happy Beer Street. You won't be disappointed, and it's really going to be, I think, as you watch it develop, it's going to be a real draw to our city. So good for them, and just wonderful place to hang out.
yeah. If you love different kinds of beer, definitely go down there. You asked me about my week. I had a fairly, it was a pretty good week. I got to do that golf tournament that I was talking about, the Frontline Celebrity Golf Classic, where I was in in the dunk tank for a majority of the day. And I have to say, it was the coldest day of our summer so far this year. Like, and I was in the dunk tank for half of it until the organizer decided that she'd much rather, me not be in the dunk tank than die in the dunk tank because like my feet were turning blue. Like I was losing circulation in my hands like the water wasn't cold. It was just like the wind and how cold it was. It's it was my worst experience in a dunk tank, but it's a fun event. We raised thousands of dollars for a number of different charities. The It was the Edmonton Regional Search and Rescue, the the Edmonton Garrison Military Family Resource Center, uh, and the EMS Foundation. But it's always a great tournament every year. They usually have booze and food at every hole, and it's just so much fun. And a dunk tank where you get to dunk a midget. Next year, I think we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We got some other ideas other than a dunk tank that could be fun. So I'm looking forward to next year. And also, I've been talking to people about, looking for uh more ways of making money that are legal. Um, and like doing like different jobs and stuff like that. I have a couple of sales, opportunities that were thrown at me this weekend. So who knows? By next week, I could be, having 27 jobs under my belt. But yeah, it was a great week. And one of the highlights of my week was actually today was because coming here to Sherbrooke Liquor and or Sherbrooke Pub and, drinking beer, hanging out with Mooney and watching him mess around with a TV to turn the captioning off on the baseball game and hearing him rant about why you don't need captions on a baseball game because it blocks the play. And I've never seen anyone get so irrationally angry about anything in my life. And it's just, and then he spent 15 minutes trying to take the captioning off, and he took the captioning off the wrong TV, and then he had to go back up there and do it again. And so since you're so passionate about watching baseball and making sure there's no captions, let's do our sports report early today because I know you have a lot of passion, a lot of excitement behind it. And I, I've never been more impressed by someone's devotion to watching sports without captioning than you today. So
I bet you thought that was a good segue there, pal. Um,
yes,
I will. But before I do, and I will. Uh, we talked a little bit about that drunk tank business, and um, just a little 2 cents worth for me is like, it doesn't matter whether you freeze to death or whether it's me keeping it
drowning
in.
me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat. But I asked you earlier, and I think it's worth sharing. Um, how many times do you think you fell into the drink there?
Uh, I I went down at least 25 to 30 times. Usually, but
What's
they
it say?
pulled me out halfway through. But like I've gone in up to 75 times when I've been in there and people are relentless. Like and this year we had a lot of really good throwers that weren't cheating, where they were actually dunking me and not having to run up and press the button. Um, but because this year they weren't cheating because they knew I was freezing to death when I hit the water. So some of the people actually felt bad for me. And so but yeah, I went in at least 30 times. But the
Yeah,
water was actually warmer than when you got out again.
yeah. I remember Andrew and I talking that day, and we were saying like we were on the deck and we like said it feels like October today. It was a really fucking cool day, and that's the only reason I didn't come because they would have got a few $100 out of me just having fun chucking, throwing aces over the plate, just knocking in the water. I mean, I can't think of I can think of very few things that would be as awesome. So,
But yeah, it was a good day. And but we did raise a lot of money for charity. Not even just at my hole, they were doing draws at every hole, and they had like raffles and stuff like that. They raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the charities, and I I love being part of that event every year. And you know, I've done the dunk tank for probably 6 out of the 9 years because there was a couple of times that we couldn't do the dunk tank because of COVID. There was rules about stuff, but and the thing is we try something different this year because it does cost the charity for the dunk tanks. So we're going to try and do something that is less like so more money goes to the charity. We've got some, and it may involve my basketball prowess, but who knows?
well, anything anything that can sort of have better optics than let's bring awareness to anti-bullying by dunking a midget.
Okay, it's not bullying when the midget is volunteering to do it.
I know, I know, I
If
know.
you're trying to drown a midget, you're trying to drown a midget, and they don't like it, then that's bullying. But if he's volunteering to go in the dunk tank, that's not bullying.
Okay, whatever you
But
say. I'm just
so
saying, like to the person
so
on the street, the optics are pretty shitty.
yeah, I'm just saying,
You've been included. You've been included.
because I think you're just putting off the inevitable because the problem is you don't want to talk about how passionate you are about sports because and I've even given this to you. Like usually you do the sports report and I go to sleep. But you know what? I was so excited about doing the sports today, watching you mess around with that TV. So let's do it. Let's talk. Stuff coming up with the Oilers, stuff going on with the Eskimos, Elks, whatever you want to call them, and the Blue Jays, and whatever else you want to talk about.
Yeah. So the biggest the biggest news in sports, really, as the summer has gone on, has been the Blue Jays. They're currently in, at the top of the standings in the American League, about half a game. Um, and in their division that I've talked about before, the AL East, they're 5 games back. Or sorry, the Red Sox are second in the AL East, behind the number one Blue Jays. 5 games back. You can believe it. So maybe we'll talk about it later. I'm going to Vegas in a couple days. Might be some money spent on the Blue Jays because this is a team to watch, guys, and it's going to be a pretty exciting fall as far as I'm concerned. They just finished a series with, just concluded a series with. I watched the game yesterday. Come on, Mooney. Texas Rangers, Bruce Bochy's team, four-time World Series champion. Bruce Bochy manages the Texas Rangers. He won three World Series with the San Francisco Giants, my NL team, and one with the Rangers not too long ago. We beat them in the 3 game series 2-1. They got us yesterday pretty bad, so 14-1 or 2. But it happens. It's baseball. Right now, they're starting a 3 game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they're currently tied 2-2 at the bottom of the third, and that's game one. The Pirates have their ace, Paul Skeens, pitching. So if we can get to that bullpen sooner than later, we might be able to break through and get more than a couple runs. But right now, again, it's 2-2. More good news in the sports department. Edmonton Eskimos, they won their second game in a row last Friday. They beat the Toronto Argonauts, and to be honest with you, it might have been their best effort all season. Cody Fajardo continues to look fantastic since being given the since winning the starters. He's 2-1, and it could be argued that that one loss was pretty darn close as well. Heck of a ball player. Really happy to have him. It looks like the team's starting to gel finally, and there was a lot of discipline there. Like the the Argonauts took a lot of penalties, and the Eskimos were very disciplined. So it was a fun game to watch. They did well, and I'm looking forward to seeing this keep going. So good for them. Not too much to report here. There was some minor league signings. One of whom is an Edmontonian by the name of Vic Prokop. He won a WHL championship with the Royal Kings a couple 3 years ago. Got drafted by the National Predators. Um, uh, in the first round, I think. I want to say, or maybe it was the third round. I'm not sure, but he's only 23, and I think maybe he felt like he wasn't given a shot with the Predators organization. So I mean, there's still a lot of growth to be had with this kid. He's 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", 200 odd pounds. So he's a beast in the back end. And I think they got him slotted to start in the AHL. But you know how these guys can surprise you, so kind of excited about that. But you know, as I said, it's kind of the quiet part of the season, the summer here for the Oilers. We'll have more in the coming weeks. But that's sports for you now.
Yeah, you were talking about the Eskimos, Elks, whatever, because you call them Eskimos, but they're really called the Elks. But their next home
No, they're the
game is
Eskimos.
oh yeah, okay, whatever. Their next home game is September 6th. That's a Saturday, and we still need to go to a game. So they only have a couple more home games left. There's the September 6th. There's the 27th, and those are, I'm not sure when the 27th is, but we still have to go to a game.
I don't mind the sixth. Like I said, I have not gone. I've refused to go since they changed the name. But to go to a game with my buddy Jimmy, I think I'll do it. I have a jersey that says Eskimos, so my little silent protest over that. That'd be like Mike Riley, 13, Eskimos jersey up. Maybe get that going. But yeah, let's write that down in pencil. September 6th, go to the game.
Yeah, it's the only issue with the Saturday is I work during the day, so I'm done work at 4. So then I'll just be there a bit late.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll figure out the deets later.
But but yeah, I haven't been to a game. Like I went to one last year, and then
Was that ambulance gate?
no, that was no. I went to two last year. One was the ambulance game, and then the next one was no ambulance.
Who said one? And then you're like, oh yeah, when I reminded you you got sent in the hospital. Yeah, oh yeah, that was two. You still can't remember.
Yeah, it's uh okay.
Drunk
I
and concussed is no way to go through life, son.
That was my first drunk concussion. No, I can't say that. That was my first drunk concussion at an Elks game. Um,
At an else game.
yeah, yes, I did get a drunk concussion once, but that was at a strip club. But and because I was running,
Oh,
I was messing with one of the dancers, and she was chasing me, and I was running away from her, and I was really drunk, and I lost my balance, and I kind of flew head first into a wall, and like right into the wall, and I was out. Um,
I'm not even gonna talk anymore. I'm just gonna
yeah,
tell us drug stories.
it was, but but yeah, so that was that. So that's all you got for sports for today, there, bud.
It is so.
Okay, now
I might chuck the odd highlight in here. You know, like because the game's happening as we speak. Um, but just yeah, probably every couple minutes when people get bored of what you have to say. So at
yeah,
least every couple minutes, if not more often.
yeah. At least it's good that it's the captioning is off on the TV so that you don't get angry. Um, but one thing we were talking about this week, and I think this is a good time to talk about it. There was a loss in the nerd world this week. Terrence Stamp, for those who don't know who he is, he played in Superman 2. He played General Zod, and he also played Chancellor Valorum in the Phantom Menace. He was in a lot of movies, a lot of stuff. Very recognizable face and voice. Yeah, he passed away at the age of 87 this week. Um, and like I think as like I really liked his role in Phantom Menace. He was thrown under the bus by everybody. Like you know, he was blamed for everything. But I thought he did a really good job. In General Zod, it has to be best, one of the best Superman villains of the original movies for sure.
That's we talked. I know we talked about this a few episodes ago, but that's in my opinion that's the best Superman ever. Like and like good villains make good drama, and like honestly, in my lifetime, maybe one of the like top 10 villains in literature or movies. I mean, he played that role to a T, and just a vile prick. So like,
Yeah,
and
like
you were legit afraid of him because he had Superman like powers. So like, and I don't. I mean, I've seen Phantom Menace. I don't remember that shit like you do. I'm not like a nerd that way, but that role that he had in that was he like a good guy or a bad guy?
in in Superman, he was a bad guy.
No, in Phantom Menace.
No, he was a good guy. He was
Oh, he
actually,
was.
yeah, he was the chancellor. He got booted as chancellor because of Palpatine then became the chancellor after they booted him.
I
But
seem to remember him. Oh, but you didn't know that he was a good guy, right? Like he kind of kept you guessing, if I recall.
yeah, no, he was just the head of the Galactic Senate. Um, but we talked about Terrence Stamp as General Zod. In Man of Steel, they cast somebody else as Zod, and he was horrible. I did not like him in comparison to like he was badass and the superpowers and the special effects were awesome. But Terrence Stamp, like just his arrogance and just everything about him, just some supervillain. Like it was
Yeah,
not just a villain, supervillain. Like like
100%.
like like him going kneel before Zod, and he would
Yeah.
always talk about himself in third person, and just a huge loss in the nerd world.
The reason why I asked about the Phantom Menace is that, like, I do have um, like a few, like, you know how you can remember a guy from like not just one role but different roles. And I think that Terrence Stamp, like, if he was a wrestler in the wrestling world, he would be a heel because I think, if I recall correctly, he's played like more than one bad guy and does it really well. Or
But
has,
he's got a very strong arrogance about him. He's got a stone face. Like he can deadpan anything and not and even say something that's just off the wall, um, you know, badass, and not crack a smile or change a look. Just like yes, he would definitely be a heel. I couldn't see that guy
yeah.
as a face.
Now, and there's something else you said that I want to clarify because I don't watch any of these modern blockbuster superhero money grabber cocksucker movies. Like, and you know what? The odd one might be good, but it's not worth the risk. It's my tiny protest against movie studios abandoning creativity in favor of like money. But this Man of Steel movie you talk about, so is that basically like a remake of Superman 2?
Yeah, it was a remake, but it was a whole lot different because they made
Don't give
they
it away
no,
because
but they
I'm gonna
made
watch
they
it.
they made Krypton to be where they basically lived with dinosaurs,
Yeah,
like
totally,
these flying.
totally. Stop. I'm gonna watch it. I'll do like a review. Like I promise. Remember
Okay,
we were talking
so
about the
it's
Alex. Have you
Man
ever
of
seen it?
Steel. It's Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll watch it on the plane or something. But
Okay.
uh, and also, so this General Zod character, I was never really a big comic book guy growing up, but like, was he like one of those? Like, did he feature originally in the comic books, like Luther or
Oh
some?
yeah, he was like right in the originals. He actually was jailed by uh, Superman's father. So he was from
Yeah,
Krypton. He was sent to the Phantom
like
Zone
the movie. Yeah.
by but that is the same in the comic books and everything. Him and the other two criminals were sent to the Phantom Zone, and in the movies, Superman released him, but and in the Man of Steel, it's a little bit different how he escapes. But yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
But yeah,
Okay.
but is like Terrence Stamp, like again, he touched both worlds that I'm very passionate about, Star Wars and nerds. And yeah, he passed away at the age of 87 this week.
Well, rest in peace. You did a hell of a job. Anybody that leaves this earth with an impact like that, I mean, like I said, that's my favorite Superman movie, and just a really nice piece of cinema. So, R.I.P. Mr. Staff.
Okay, so now let's get into some like this is actually going to be a podcast that has a lot of relevant stuff personalized for us specifically, and you are going to Vegas on Wednesday. So
Yep.
what's happening with that?
Well, Andrew and I usually go every August. I know people go, oh, it's so hot or whatever, but there's air conditioning, and I think almost every time we go, we do have a pool day. You get a cabana. Uh, I go fairly often. This will be my third time to Vegas. Yeah, I did. I went to Reno. So I went to Vegas in January with Andrea, and then April with the fellas, and then I was in Reno. This will be my third time. Um, so I don't gamble like a shit ton. I mean, I gamble a lot in terms of man hours, but I like just playing like low limit slots because the active gambling is fun for me. I only bring what I plan to lose, and the less I gamble, the more I get to gamble. Because the less I lose. Yeah, what we're doing this trip is Andrew and I both have rewards, MGM rewards accounts, and she gambles a bit too when we go, so we both get the offers. And then for this trip, we each got a room. So we both get $100 resort credit each. We both get $60 free play each. The rooms were free. The only thing that costs anything is, and it's hard to avoid, is the resort fee. But it ends up being about $200 for 4 nights. And the reason why we got two rooms though is because our I'm bringing Johnny, our mutual buddy Johnny, who you love to hammer me with, and Andrew's bringing her best friend Rashan. So I'm going to be staying with Johnny, and Andrew's going to be staying with Rashan, and it's just going to be kind of a fun few days. Um, Originally, we picked that date because Toto, Men at Work, and Christopher Cross were all playing the same show at Fulton Blue this coming Saturday. But we didn't buy tickets when they first came out, and they were about $200 for the best seats. And now tickets are $400 secondary market, Ticketmaster everywhere for the worst seats. Not a big theater though, so we're going to keep an eye on tickets. I hedged my bets, no pun intended, by getting tickets to see Pablo Cruz, uh, relatively popular band in the '70s, kind of a yacht rock-ish type band that I really like, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing. So it's a win-win for me. If those Toto ticket prices come down, we might go. I've already seen Toto twice, so whatever. Nice console, seeing Pablo Cruz. And then other than that, we're just gonna hang out. Johnny hasn't seen the Australian beaches before, and I've got an offer for really cheap tickets for those. And it'll be like my eighth or ninth time. So like the beaches are kind of a guilty pleasure. So anyway, that's what I got up my
So,
sleeve for Vegas.
so did you say Johnny's going with you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So, so, so you guys are both back on Monday.
yeah.
Oh, I was kind
Actually,
of
no,
hoping that.
sorry. It's
Oh, Sunday,
Wednesday to Sunday. Yeah,
Wednesday to Sunday.
yeah.
Okay. So, but you're back at the same time as Johnny. Like he's not coming back before you by any chance.
It's the whole trip is very well planned. We're all on the same flight. We're
Well,
staying in the same hotel.
it
It's
wasn't planned good enough because I want Johnny back because been wanting to replace you for at least one podcast to see if, because I just need a bald guy to do it. And, just because you keep saying how you're the talent and I just want to see, trying a different bald guy, how much my life would be so much better. But, I guess if you're both back at the same time, if you don't feel like doing the podcast next week, just let me know. I'll reach out to Johnny. Um,
yeah.
but I do need a break from you eventually because this bald and short of it with you being the bald, is becoming too much. Um,
The
and
short and bald of it.
like, and I can't just do the short of it podcast. Um,
So, I want this to happen. You've been a uh, low man on the totem pole, coattail riding kind of radio guy for a lot of years. And a guy like that, nobody more than you should have an appreciation for how you treat the talent. And, when you talk to guys like me like that, I mean, I could be doing this anywhere with anybody. And I bring all my followers with me. So I'm going to tell you right now, you're welcome to make that change. and I can't wait to watch the viewership drop from like the five regular viewers to like two or one or maybe probably zero because they're all going to come with me. So good luck with
But
that, pal.
but you bringing all your followers over too. How often do we go out in public and people recognize my ass and not you? The same thing happened with the riff raff that I worked with at my previous radio job. Is we go out in public, like there were times I'd be out at a bar, people would walk up, "Hey Jimmy, I love your show, you're awesome. Who's your buddy?" And I'm like, "That's Lachlan. He's the show
So
is named after him." Oh,
yeah,
like,
but I wonder if that chaps his ass. But I'll say this: that at least with me when we're out in public and that happens, it's more just appreciation. Um, like people don't thank the beautiful luxury car that they're driving; they thank Henry Ford. Like whoever's involved in the production. If you didn't produce me, the talent, none of this would be happening for the folks that tune in the vast majority because of me. So they're thanking you for facilitating my presence, on the interwebs and in the podcast world. At the end of the day, you're appreciated because you facilitate the talent. And the sooner and the more and the better you understand that, the better we'll all be. So if you want to bring Johnny on, fucking be my guest. Like you're basically flushing this down the toilet. Talent is talent, my friend.
you have about as much talent as my baby toy. Like, um, just saying. Here, let's let's change let's change the subject before there's a fist fight in Sherbrooke and we get bans. Um,
Let's change the subject before you get overwhelmed by the facts and end up being too depressed.
okay, so we were talking as a kid because you were talking about your Vegas trip and all the stuff going on with that. Um, did I ever tell you about the Vegas trip that I did when I was with the radio station?
Nope.
Um, so imagine this, okay? We're getting on the airport. We were staying at the D and we were going to see a Metallica concerts, and stuff. And we brought a bunch of listeners. So we thought we would be funny. So we go and we get on the airplane and all three of us are dressed in Elvis outfits, like all three of us. So we have a 6'4", you know, and then we have a larger millennial and a midget, and we're all wearing the exact same costume. We get on the airport, I get on the airplane, and but I lost a bet. So in my carry-on, I had to carry a 14-inch dildo in my carry-on. So it had to go through security. So it's going through the X-ray machine and it's going through and you look at the one guy at the X-ray thing going, looking at it going, and then call somebody over. Then they call
They,
somebody
they
like
call they, they call
that,
someone over.
they were like, "Hey, look at this. Look at," and so there was about five people that ended up seeing this, 13-inch dildo in my backpack. And
And they never hang on, like they never flagged your bag either. Like, they didn't
no,
put it aside.
they
So
just,
it was just a dude. Like if you and I were working together at the thing, and I was the guy checking the thing, I'd be like, "Hey, get a load of this pal," right? They were all just fucking laughing at you, right?
but, but here's where it gets funny. So we get on the plane
It's pretty
and one
funny on
thing,
its own.
but, but we get on the plane and a lot of the time when I fly, I fall asleep. I fall asleep. Locke gets out of his chair, goes into my carry-on, takes the dildo out of my backpack, and he sticks it to the part right above my head in the on the plane. and then the stewardesses are going, okay, okay, no, you got to take that down, sir. You got to put that back. Security warned us that there was three Elvises getting on the plane with a 12-inch dildo. Um, can you please put that back in the bag? Security warned them about, and but yeah, that was just going there, and we stayed at the D, and um, we drank all day. Like we were there for 3 days.
Las
I fell
Vegas.
asleep. I fell asleep during the Metallica concert. Like,
Let me
and
ask you this, because I think not everyone I know loves Fremont, but I love Fremont. I think it's fantastic. I like a lot of the divier places, and like I remember when the D used to be Fitzpatrick's way back. The first time I ever came to Vegas. I actually met the dude that bought Fitzpatrick's, turned it into the D, bought the Golden Gate, and built Circa, which is like the flagship property in one of the newest casinos in Vegas on Fremont. It's really cool.
okay,
But I get offers time to time at the D. One of my best buds, Betty, is a bartender in Vegas. So at Dick's at Excalibur. So that's a big reason why I stay at Excalibur. I love the hotel too. I love Excalibur. It's a little kitschy, but it's way better than those boring Richie places like the Venetian and shit. Um, but I do like it a lot. And if I was going to stay on Fremont, I'd stay at the D. Why did you choose the D? And was it like some kind of promotion or like?
it was some part of a promotion that was done. It was done through a travel agency, so so listeners could have traveled with us, and so your flights, your hotel were all covered, and it was done through the D and through
Yeah,
I think it was WestJet, but yeah.
and how was it? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, the D is awesome. I loved the D. It was I had so much fun. But the only thing is because me, Locke, and Grant, we were kind of under the same reservation, and um, so I went to bed a little bit earlier than he did, and he thought that was wrong. So he went down to security and said, "Hey, I locked myself out of my room. My name is James White. Um, can I get a key or can you let me back into my room?" So him and my buddy Army Chris, they break into my room. So security lets them in. The guy comes in and he goes, the security guy goes, um, "Do you know these guys?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." But they broke into my room and the security guy, and then as soon as I said, "Yeah, it's okay," he took off because he just let these two guys into somebody else's room, and it was actually kind of amusing. But then that dildo that I was talking about, they took the dildo
You got
out
a
of
quick
my
thing
bag.
on
No, just wait. But so they took the dildo out of my bag and stuck it to my shower. Um, and then I ended up getting it down and, you know, hit Grant upside the head with it like it was a sledgehammer.
Did
But
they do that for like when the people came to clean your room? Was it there?
yeah, like the bag was, yeah, it was still with my suitcase. So yeah, they just grabbed it as they walked.
And what did they do with the dildo when they came in and woke you up?
They made me get dressed and go out drinking with them.
Oh, under threat of what?
And they were going to keep breaking into my room.
Yeah, summon the dildo.
Uh,
Oh man, I
Sometimes I hate telling you stories.
that's a. It reminds me of a similar story when I went to China. Uh, when I was doing my MBA, we did a like an educational tour, and there was some buddies that we went to Thailand for a week before, and we found out when we went through Hong Kong that Um, when you go to Chinese airports, if you have a lighter in your bag, they confiscate the lighter. So
Because
one of
I
the,
thought you're not allowed to take lighters.
it varies country to country. You can take a lighter here. I have lighter like my Zippo. I put it in the tray. It's no big deal. Um,
You
uh,
can take a lighter, but you can't take shampoo unless it's in a bag.
no, yeah. All the fluids have to be in a bag. But
But you can bring a lighter on.
yeah, yeah, you can. In fact, I, if you forget a lighter, you lose a lighter, which happens time to time. You're in Vegas. I buy one or I grab one or whatever, and I had a bag with about 4 or 5 in them, like a Ziploc bag in my bag, and nobody ever gave a shit. So I went to China. Anyways, we're going back into China from Thailand with our group, and when we were in Thailand, one of the fellas found this lighter that was like a dickhead. So he shipped the dickhead, and it's a lighter. And I'm like, let's buy that. And there was a guy in our group, our Kage, that I kind of bumped into and put it in his bag. So he's just going right through security. They're going through his bag and they find it and they take it out and look at him. That was pretty good because he didn't see it coming at all. It was pretty funny.
Uh, you, I, you were talking a while back that I should go with you to Vegas, but after hearing that story, I don't know if I'd survive. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't rely on a dildo, and you wouldn't survive.
yeah, I'm kind of scared to travel with you actually now that we've met each other and we've had this conversation. Um, yeah, I think I'm good. I don't need to see if Vegas Mooney style, because I'll probably end up getting arrested or deported to a country that I don't live in, um, because of you. Um,
We're talking like yacht rock bands and like Sinatra shows and like beaches. Um, you want to be there. You want a Vegas movie style. In fact, all the short of it podcast, we're gonna do a trip. I'm going back in the fall, so you might as well come. We'll make it happen. Maybe we'll broadcast from Vegas. That would be
I
pretty cool. We
no,
could.
I don't,
Benny probably
I
wouldn't
don't
mind.
think that's a good idea because can you can just half of us go to Vegas? Because like, I'm afraid that I might not you might, sell me. I don't know. Like,
I think one and a half of us should go to Vegas.
what's that?
So I think one and a half of us should go to Vegas.
Uh, but so you're leaving on Wednesday for your Vegas trip. Uh, now with the Air Canada strike with the flight attendants and stuff, does that
Yep.
affect you at all?
No, it's funny you mention that because I was texting Andrea today because that Air Canada business they're keeping it going. I have like a shit ton of aeroplan miles, like 70 or 90,000. I don't know. The trouble with using them is that like they give you the shittiest flights. So like if I was going to Vegas, you'd fly to Vancouver and then LA and then Vegas or something. Like they just put you on all the shitty milkman stuff. So they go, oh yeah, you can use your aeroplan points for this, and then it ends up being like fucking 9 hour flight to a 3 hour destination. So I don't typically use it unless it's out of basic convenience, which hard to do when under those circumstances. But I almost did it for this trip because I wanted to come earlier in the day. Our flight ends up getting to Vegas around 7 p.m. So you kind of lose the day. I like and I almost did it with my airplane points, but I didn't. And I'm glad because I'd be fucked right now. So my Kieran though, my son Kieran, he was just coming home from Vancouver on Monday, and he texted me and he goes, "I can't make it because he was going to come with me." Or it was on, that was on Friday. He was going to come with me on that beer tour with Cozy, um, and he said, "I can't make it, Dad. My flight got canceled." And I'm like, I fucking hate Air Canada, and I do. Like the attendants are rude. It almost feels like Canada. They disrespect the West. It's like, like whatever they ask, like you get the complimentary pop and your thing. I always go, can I have a can of, and if the flight's full, I expect they'll tell me. And the only time a flight attendant looked me in the eye and goes, no, was Air Canada. And I'm an aisle guy. I always sit at the aisle. Every time I fly any Air Canada, they don't give a shit if the card gives it like bangs in your funny bone. So I'm not a big fan. Anyways, I honestly I go fucking Air Canada high, and he goes, actually it was WestJet. They canceled the flight. So and I was like, oh wow, I'm surprised, but yeah, they had mechanical issues or something. And were you talking about that? Where you had some kind of you went last? Was it last summer your flight got canceled?
Yeah, we were flying WestJet, and that was last summer, and they had the strike. I can't remember. I don't think it was flight attendants. I think it was like pilots or
Pilots.
something.
I think it was pilots.
And they had this strike last summer, so we we had to drive down, and it was like it's 24 hours on the road. So like we drove as far as we could, and then we'd stay at a hotel, and then we drive as far as we could, and we'd stay in a hotel. It was the best way to learn most about a friend is to do
I
a
know.
trip like that where you're driving, like not flying.
Like,
Flying is okay because you're only in a plane for 5, 6 hours, but you're in a car for 2 days.
yeah,
Um,
hang on. No, I got a couple questions. The first one is, uh, well, not it's an observation, not a question. You say we drove. So, like, what lane did you drive? Fuckface.
okay, she drove. I slept in the passenger seat.
We drove. Like, if
I
you and
was in I was in the car.
I would like literally move to Vegas with you, like as long as we weren't staying in the same room. But if anybody asked me to drive to Vegas with you, I'd say no fucking way. Um, I actually don't mind driving. In fact, I prefer driving. But yeah, like you said, you really get to know somebody. I don't. I know enough, Jimmy. I'm good.
But but the thing is, though, is we ended up the reason why we ended up going is because we had bought concert tickets. We went to go see a show. We had hotel rooms.
Yeah, you were
We
always
had
in
plans with friends. We were supposed to be doing going to a party on for uh July 4th. Like there was a lot of stuff that we were supposed to do and so we had to go, and it was either drive or cancel everything.
Well, I know
And
you talked. Like, that was a fun trip. And if you went to like Lucasfilm or the studio
yeah,
kind
we
of
we went to yeah we went to Lucasfilm. We checked that out. It's real cool. Like the facility was closed because we ended up having to go there on the Saturday, but we still got to see a bunch of stuff. We walked through. We got a tour of
what is it? Sorry, folks, park's closed. We should have told you at the gate.
Can I get another beer? Um,
But
I'm way too sober for this.
I want you to expand on the because I have a similar story, but the part about you get to know somebody really well when you go on a road trip, like what observations do you have without suing anybody, like Like, are they happy? Like, are they happy observations? Like, wow, like I didn't realize how,
Ah,
like,
okay,
you know,
so
like I didn't realize what a nice guy Mooney was until we drove to Vegas and he's such a decent dude and stuff. Like, I would never drive to Vegas with you, but if I did, that's probably what you would say. So maybe you have some nice observations. I don't know.
um,
I actually,
that the thing is the person I was traveling with is was a girl, and me and I try to be as proper as possible. So I like use like if I go home, as soon as I get home, my pants are off, my shirt's off, I'm walking around the place in my underwear, and then there I'm like change in the bathroom, like and just being in a room with a girl when you're not when you're a single guy and you don't live with one. Um, but that prepared me for the trip that I went on with my mom because I had to do the exact same things with her,
the
but
cruise.
for obviously different reasons. One's a girl and one's my mother. But then my snoring, so I'm more conscious on trying to sleep in a way that I don't snore as bad. And then she threatens to kill me, and then she figured out she had a workaround. But traveling, and then we're in the car together, and she's a big on podcasts, and she likes boy bands, so we were listening to a lot of podcasts. And I actually learned like some of the stuff that she was listening to. At first, I was kind of, you know, that's weird. Like, and then I got into, hey, that's not bad. And like, and then you learn more about these people. And then my, my liking of certain artists kind of changed and stuff like that. But it was just like when you travel with someone like that, especially in a car, you're with them the whole time. There's no
Yeah,
break.
it's a level of intimacy that you don't get, like, like we're sitting here at the bar talking shit, right? I actually didn't, like, the minute that I could afford to get my own room anywhere, I I did that until about 2022, I think it was. Yeah, I went to Nashville. I had tickets to a concert. I got tickets, or I pre-booked a hotel, and I was fully prepared to go by myself. It was actually the Total in Journey in Nashville at the Bridgestone Arena, and I was talking to my buddy Johnny about it, and I'm like, "Hey, you should come if you can. I'm going by myself." And like maybe a week before, he goes, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go." And I had just the one room booked. But honestly, it was a treat. We got along great. There was no like I think um, I don't want to. I don't want to like toot my own horn or anything, but I'd like to think I'm kind of considerate. Like I don't want to get in anybody's way, keep my shit out of anybody's way, and all that stuff. And I can vouch for John. He's totally the same way. So I actually don't mind staying with him, but I think it's kind of like a select group because when I was maybe 20, 20, 21, 20, my buddy Schlabs were the best at stories. We decided to drive to Vancouver and then Seattle. Um, we're Pledge Brothers in the same fraternity. Love the guy to death. He's a great dude. But we, he was driving and we committed to doing that. We were going to visit his brother for a couple of days in Vancouver, stay at the Deke House, our fraternity house in Vancouver, chapter house in Vancouver, and then stay at the chapter house in Seattle. And I ended up leaving Vancouver after one night. Nothing to do with schnapps, just because it was so expensive. And I was a broke student, so I took the Greyhound to Seattle because it really cost $2. But anyway, we pretty much hung around each other the whole trip. And it's so funny on the ride down, like when we drove to Vancouver, it's like we're both so excited. We got that trip ahead of you. We're listening to music, and like it's just nonstop talk, like the whole fucking time. Eh? And then like the ride home, you're tired. You're pretty much been drinking the whole trip. He probably annoyed with me, like for a number of reasons. We're just tired of hanging around the same dude for like 10 days or whatever. And on the ride home, maybe we spoke 3 sentences to each other over the course of like 9 hours. It's a lesson we'll learn pretty young, you know.
Yeah, it's you learn a lot of stuff when traveling about your friends, about yourself, about whatever.
Fuck life.
Um, and so where else were we gonna go with that? I think we covered everything. You know what? Let's get into a little bit something that both you and I are very passionate about in 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 so many ways, and it's both. What's that?
Some Vegas and Vegas.
No, it's let's talk about
Oh no,
let's
that's
talk
you.
about what's me. Okay,
Vegas and Vegas.
okay. Uh, let's get into traffic delays and the LRT. But like, so before I unleash you upon the world, because you were very passionate about it. They've been working on the construction, especially on my end of town, which is Stony Plain Road in 156 area. For it feels like
Yeah,
107 years. Like
good. I know that you're into this, but like it's not for nothing. Just to explain to the listeners, like the genesis of this discussion was like literally today. I had a doctor's appointment on 156th Street, or do they call it 159th? Wherever it intersects with 87th Ave, and that whole thing is just fucking. It's like it's all construction. It's mind blowing. It's anyway, Jimmy and I are texting back and forth because of where Jimmy lives. I live kind of more central, so I was like, "Why don't I collect you after my doctor's appointment and we'll hang out and then do the podcast," which is what we did. But as soon as I got to the doctor's office, like I'm glad I gave myself extra time because I'm like, "What the fuck, man? How many detours I had to take?" I get to the waiting room and I'm like, "We were talking about this because first hand experience." But having said that, Jimmy, you live right by the route,
I
which is
live
actually kind of
exactly
good for
because
you.
that's
And
that
you don't
that's
drive.
and I don't drive. But the thing is though, is all the construction down there, like that whole area, like especially on the corner of Stony Plain and 156, has been torn apart forever. Where it slows the buses down, it slows everything. They had stoplights and they had traffic and this like all those businesses on Stony between Stony Plain Road and 156 and Stony Plain Road and 149.
142nd. Because 42nd was fucking
Okay,
close.
okay. One, like all those businesses, like I'd hate to be them. Like a lot of them had to move because people couldn't get in there. Like the traffic, like you can't go down one as Stony Plain Road between there at like at all. And and it's even crossing the street and all that kind of stuff. Like I find it easier Ubering from like anything on that in that area, like the no frills, because even walking, the sidewalks are blocked and some are blocked, but the crosswalks are blocked. They don't say which ones are blocked until you get there. And then you go, like, it's so stupid. And the thing is, it makes no sense to me why they're running the LRT down Stony Plain roads. Like like why couldn't they go down? What is that? 87th, 82nd, all the way because
87th.
they're going
87th.
downtown.
Yeah.
And like if they could do that, like it's Stony Plain Road is the main hub for vehicles to get to the West End. Like it's the main hub, like going from downtown to West End. Now everybody going from downtown to West End, you have to go all the way up to 107th and across. Yeah, you don't even like our city government. Like I know you're going to get into this, but I might as well do it too. They are anti-car. Like they want but they're even anti-walking. Like you can't walk a lot of these places anymore. Like it's you can either bike or take transit, but you can't take transit for another 2 more years till when the train's actually done. Because they'll finish the train in I bet you about 3 years. They'll finish the train and it'll be ready to go in five because they have to do all the checks and the lights and all the stupid stuff. Like the city when it comes to transit, this is the worst city I think anywhere for public transit.
I think,
And
I
I've
think
taken public transit every like
Van-
Vancouver is awesome.
yeah. Vancouver is also a lot more densely urban. I mean, they've got it. Like, is there a train from like fucking Richmond to Vancouver? Probably not, or Burnaby or wherever. No, it's all within like that metropolitan area. I don't know about New York. I know that just from the movie The Warriors, you can take a train to Staten Island from Manhattan or Brooklyn or wherever the fuck you say. Anyways, but Edmonton is like a suburban city. It spans a lot, and we have literally like a million people. Over like I don't know, like over a million people. Well, if you just want to don't include Sherbrooke Park, don't include St. Albert, it's going to be maybe a hair shy of a million. But we're spread out over like um, literally hundreds of blocks, and I mean that because there's so many suburbs, and I mean they're developing Southwest now, like Summerside and 41 Street Southwest. So now you're talking like a space of like 240 blocks. And there's people like pretty much evenly distributed amongst all of them. We don't have a big downtown core in terms of residents where it's easier for me to take a train from, I don't know, Cabin to Rogers Place than it is to take a car. It's not. And it never will be, particularly when these fuckers decide that they're going to actually build the train on the road. So the road is the most convenient way for suburbans to get around, and they're never going to ever get rid of the cars. But the city decides, well, we're going to close a lane here and close a lane there so that we can facilitate everyone getting on a fucking train because we don't want people driving. And it's almost like an act of the city council where they're like, we're bringing mass transportation that the democracy didn't want because we want to feel good about ourselves and somehow feel like we're going more green. And they're not. No one's. They're just blowing our money, man. Like, uh, I guarantee you. I promise you this, Jimmy. Um, yeah, I know you don't drive, but if you drove and just where I live, which is pretty central, that I will probably have spent more hours between now and the time that I die, and hopefully a long time from now. I would have spent more hours in my car driving around the delays, stopping at lights because a fucking train is going by that hasn't been elevated, that they didn't build any tunnels, although they spent billions. Stopping at that fucking light or being detoured like I was today, um, all over the place, left, right, and center. I'm going to spend more time doing that than I ever fucking will on any of those fucking trains. And I would wager, like, I bet you, oh, anybody wants to take me up on this, I guess there's no way to find out, but I would put $1,000 on the fact that if you ask every Edmontonian the same question, what will stop you? What will delay you more? Will you gain more time by taking the LRT than you've lost by it being implemented on city streets, sidewalks, and roadways? I fucking guarantee you it will be the latter. And all because a bunch of people who sit on city council in a fairly leftist or at least a union driven electorate kind of thing are like, frankly, activists and not listening to their constituents. I have definitely ranted. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'll give you one more example, and I'll be brief. Don't worry.
I needed one more example. I did, I was waiting all day for one more example.
Touche. All right. Fuck you too, dude. Dude. So um, I remember reading about Singapore, and you have all of these non-government organizations, these environmentalist groups that hold Singapore up as a shining beacon in the quest for net zero or whatever environmentalist grail that they present to you these days, and they talk about what a great ally the country of Singapore is in terms of greenhouse gas emissions and shit like that. And let me just explain to you how that happened. So Singapore has
I really wanted to know. Sorry, like I've been, I'm just sitting, just waiting. How did it happen, Chris? Please tell me. How did it happen? Like, I really want to know.
all right, okay. I'll fucking wrap it up. I promise. Um, but they're like, okay, well, how do we get less? We're pretty crowded. Like if you like Beijing, when I was in Beijing, they actually you have a license plate and you're allowed to drive Tuesdays and Thursdays or Wednesdays and Fridays or whatever the spacing is. And if the police see that license plate, the Wednesday license plate on Thursday, they pull you over and they punish you. But that's strictly because of overpopulation. They haven't prohibited people from driving. In Singapore, here's what they did. They've raised the price of insurance per annum to the degree that it almost matches the value of the actual fucking car you drive. So basically, the only people that drive in Singapore are people with money. Everybody else is like fucking doomed to like these shitty fucking LRT systems like the ones Edmonton's building. And it's basically the government controlling how you live your life, which is frankly what I don't agree with. And not a fan of being belabored by that either. So sorry about that. I'm good. Are you sorry that you love your little cage?
I'm actually sorry that I started this podcast, but it's just, um,
Now you got to bring in a new ball guy.
but, but the,
We're a diamond dozen.
But the thing is though, is I do agree that, but another problem that we have with the way that the LRT has been done this year as well is when they started planning this, it was 3 mayors ago, and then they get rid of a mayor, and then you get a new city planner, and then they change things, and then you get a new city planner, and then they change things, and it's like, just pick a path and take it. Like, it makes no sense. I take transit all the time, um, and in some ways our transit is good. In other ways, it sucks. Like, it's and the fact that it's messed up all, like, so many different parts of, like, traffic wise, for both cars and pedestrians. Um, and then don't get me started on bike lanes. Um,
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a few weeks ago in the Taste of Edmonton.
yeah, no, we talked about scooters, but scooters aren't allowed on bike lanes, because the bike people think they're exclusive. But let's, I don't want to get too negative. Um,
Yeah,
but
I kind of own that space this week.
um, I wanted to get into one last thing that that I so we've talked many times on our podcast about the fact that I journal. And, part of me journaling was actually given, and the idea was given to me by my counselor when I was dealing with the loss of my dad. And but now recently, like, this year, I started a second journal, and it was called Drunk Thoughts.
What now,
I
sir?
call it drunk thoughts of Jimmy. And I'm just going to read you a couple. Uh, February 22nd, 2025, possible podcast with Chris Mooney. What could go wrong? I actually wrote that in here.
Okay, like hang on. Like okay, you were drunk, so you can be forgiven if you don't remember. But was it like like a sarcastic "What could go wrong," or was it like "What could go wrong"?
No, it's dude. Like like shit goes sideways. All okay, dude. Look, we've had four technical difficulties on this podcast alone,
No, like
and you know,
I understand what they're doing.
but the
Hang
good
on,
news is our listeners haven't killed us yet. Um,
no, listen. I need you to understand what I'm saying. When you said way back in February, before this thing even was a thing, uh, what could go wrong? That internal dialogue is literally what a journal is. And you wrote what could go wrong. Was it a positive, like excited, like what could go wrong? Like this will be great, or like what could go wrong? Like let's think about this and analyze it and
no,
see what could go wrong.
it's
Or
it.
was it like what could go wrong? This is fuck. What a dumb idea.
No, it was like what could go wrong? Which one of us is going to die first? Like it's gonna like it's like
So it was
shit.
more like
Like like
sure, what could go wrong?
like shit can go sideways, and it might eventually. Another. I gotta read you a couple of other of my drunk thoughts. Um, I don't
I want the fucking journal. Like I want to. That's
no
bedtime reading.
no like like some of this stuff that I've written in here. Um, yeah, I don't want to read that.
Moon is hot. Where's my
Oh,
bladder?
I actually said drunk thoughts of Jimmy, which I guess I was watching Star Wars. Um, Phantom Menace, Queen Amidala or Princess Leia. So I was trying to figure out which one I loved the most. Like I was doing a thought. Okay, which one was cuter? Which one did I have the hots for?
Like this one or this one? This
But you
one
know,
or this one?
but you know, like with Princess Leia and the you know the metal bikini, or
Yeah.
you know, and then Queen Amidala, and there's a couple of episodes where you know she turned me on. Um,
Maybe it's just me, like the kind of girl I like, but I never considered either of them sexually attractive. They call me crazy.
you never find women sexually attractive? What?
No, like Princess Leia. I mean, sure, like the bikini thing, with
Oh,
Jabba. Okay, I mean, she had a fine body, but like,
it was the long hair that did it for me.
I hate to objectify women, so my apologies to anyone out there. I literally don't do that. It's not my
Yeah,
thing.
sorry, I'm way below you. Um,
Um, yeah, well, with the whole failure to launch my stalking of Shania Twain because of economics.
okay, I stopped stalking her years ago. Okay,
No, but um, honestly, like I don't like just look at either actress's face and go, "That's hot." All I'm saying.
okay, well, but you also have a wife. I'm a lonely midget. Okay, um, there's a bit of a difference, but yeah. So like the
And not really because like I love Andrew and I honor her by not looking at other women or even thinking about it. Like why even enjoy the trouble? Um, you're allowed to objectively look at and like desire other women as much as you want. So
okay, you know I'm glad I have your opinion.
your buffet has like so many more items.
but you know what, dude? You know this has been a fun podcast. We've had a couple of uh glitches. It's been good. You know, I think as a whole, um, we had fun. We still have some beer to drink.
I feel like you're inching
I'm
towards shutting it
inching
up.
towards shutting her down. Yeah.
I don't disagree, but do you have any more? Like maybe we should make this a weekly segment or something. But Jimmy's drug journal. Do you have like give me something else because they're both like pretty fucking
But
awesome.
some of them are
Um,
really
are
deep.
are rated. Or like you don't want to tell me how much you hate me.
No, some of them are kind of deep. Like in a little. Okay, I'll read this one. This was it back in January. Um, Yeah, one form. Like, again, I write this stuff when I'm, because what I do is I write stuff like this when I'm drinking, and then I might turn it into a bit for something else. One form of bullying that people don't talk about is something very simple. When you are upset by the success of others, but their struggles bring you joy. uh, you know, Call it jealousy, envy, whatever it is. But it's a way, it's another way of bullying, standing on others. Because the reason why I was talking about that, that was just after I found out that there was a little person that doesn't like me very much, that was actually went to the radio station and thanks them for firing me because I was a bad influence on society. And so that's why I kind of wrote that. So some of the stuff is dealing with um like a number like getting together with friends. My favorite is February 22nd. Possible podcast with Chris Mooney. We already touched that one. Then right after that one, the next entry was June 14th. Uh, Failure is only a failure if you let it stop you. Because again, some of my stuff that I write in here, it can be philosophical.
That's
Um,
actually awesome. Like it's kind of like my philosophy, where it's like, maybe the phrasing might be a little off, but it's like I embrace failure because every time you fail, you learn a lesson. Like I
Yeah,
don't want
but there's so many different ways. As long as you get up more times than you fail, you've succeeded. Success is the there's so many different renditions of that.
yeah,
But I don't know why I wrote this. I wrote this in my Drunk Thoughts of Jimmy journal, and as well as I added it to our prep and
well, like
just random, no, but just random. And it was just midget self defense. I don't know why I wrote that. I just wrote midget self defense. Um, I'm like, okay, what, like, because the thing is I've been trained in martial arts over the years for many, many years. And the thing is, we modify every technique. Like I've done multiple different styles. Yeah, we modify techniques because most teachers are not my size. They're your size, or like not your size. Much it's better in shape than you, but it's just but rounded shape. But but like taller. But I have to modify stuff. So I don't know why. That was August 17th. So that was yesterday. I don't know what I was doing or why I wrote it, but
just
just
straight up.
midget self defense.
Oh, I thought it would have been like a couple years ago when you realized like you abandoned that thought because you landed on ass biting.
Uh, uh, but yes, so what we're going to do, it's going to be a fairly regular feature on this podcast is we are going to do whenever, because I don't do drunk thoughts every week. So whenever I come up with a new drunk thought that week, it'll be revealed on the show. Like,
Yeah,
actually, because my drunk thought for the day is why the hell am I doing this podcast? But, you know, but, with such great talent like Chris Mooney,
yeah.
how could you not?
It's time
Um,
I got my flowers. It's time.
uh, just go away. Um, this is the Bald and Short of It podcast. I'm James P. Weiss.
To be
That's Chris.
continued.
That's Chris Mooney. I have hair. He doesn't. I'm short. He's not. And see you later, folks.